Hello, everybody. It's 9 p.m. As we are saying here offline, the Biggie Bang started to give the
To
famous
chime,
sound.
to
Huh?
chime.
The
The basic
chime.
chime.
The chime.
Chime.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. So I hope everybody's having a good week. And today our topic is devotion to goodness. Devotion to goodness. And for as always, I do have these brilliant partners in crime here. And good evening, my dear Gibbons. How are you, my dear?
I'm very well, thank you. I hope everyone is well. Hello, Charles and Steven, and everyone that are listening to us or will come to listen to us. So today we're having a conversation on about goodness, something that they talk a lot about in Spiritism, and it's good for us to see and to remind ourselves about the subject. And so it's interesting, as always. Então, boa tarde a todos que estejam nos ouvindo. Sempre um prazer estar com todos vocês. Um grande abraço. Hoje nós vamos falar sobre a bondade, que é um tema bem espírita, e vai ser muito interessante conversar com vocês e conosco sobre isso. Um grande abraço, que Jesus nos abençoe a todos.
Okay, good. Bonsoir, Charles.
Bonsoir Stevan, bonsoir à tous. Très heureux d'être à nouveau ensemble aujourd'hui pour parler de bonté aujourd'hui. On va parler de comment aller dans le bon sens, dans le bon sens du terme. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Very happy to be here again with you today, tonight, and we will talk today about goodness. So let's bring some food for thoughts for all of you and for us as well, of course, to help us in being every day a little bit better than the day before.
Great. Bom senso. Yes. That's the name of the game today. And in order to start here, let me share my screen and see our video.
Truly moral individuals are those who practice the law of justice, love, and charity in its most complete purity. If they interrogate their conscience concerning their actions, they will ask if they have not violated that law, if they have not committed any wrong, if they have done all the good that is within their power to do, if no one has a complaint against them. And lastly, if they have done to others what they would want others to do unto them.
Short video, but with amazing message. And devotion to goodness. It is something we always try to do. We always want to do. Be a better person, do good to the others. But there is a gap, a huge gap between I know what I have to do and I'm doing everything I can do in order to reach that. So we can say, we can blame free will, we can blame lack of time, we can blame uh, I'm doing my part, but the others don't do their part, so I'm sick of trying to do this and I don't reach there. So that is excuse for everything. But the main point is and we know everything it is in our conscious. Everything, the law, it is in our conscious. And I like to start asking to Charles, what qualities must a person have to show that she or he is a good person?
Yeah, it's a good question, which has been already partly answered in the short video we have seen at the beginning. And as you have listened, the truly good person is the one who complies with the laws of justice, love, and charity in the highest degree. Okay, so to be a good person, we need to have justice, we need to have love, and we need to have charity. So today there is even a new expression which is used, a new concept, which is so-called spiritual intelligence. Okay, and we know IQ, intellectual quotient.
Yeah.
We know EQ, emotional quotient, and now there is a new one which is called SQ, which is a spiritual quotient or intelligence.
Oh, I didn't
And
know that.
you didn't know it? Go
No.
and seek. You will see. You find a lot of things, definitions, and so on. And I find it amazing because these people talking about SQ are not spiritualists. Not even some are materialists. Some are in business, in industry, wherever. And when we ask, okay, what is the definition of the spiritual intelligence? They come exactly to the same. To be kind, to be the brotherhood, to help the team spirit, the interest of the collective team comes before the personal interest of anyone. So you have to remove completely the selfishness, and transform it into abnegation. And when we look also more carefully, all these qualities which are today recognized as being spiritual intelligence, which are also the ones that have been listed by Allan Kardec in the Gospel According to Spiritism, chapter 17, item 3, entitled The Good Person, are in fact totally aligned with the moral teachings brought by Jesus 2000 years ago, which in turn are totally aligned with the moral teachings brought by the Vedas even earlier, or brought by the Quran much later. So there is this concepts of goodness are now getting universal. And the problem is they have been during a long time tied to a particular religion. But now, thanks to the Spiritist body of knowledge, we take a little bit distance from the official religions. We focus on the source, which is fueling these religions, which are the moral teachings, which are embedded in all of them. In fact, we left aside all what is discussion, rituals, history of what did Jesus do, what did he not do, where was it, when, and so on. All these things for which we cannot have no evidence and which are always subject to discussion. And we take the moral teachings, and those, nobody is discussing them. Who will discuss do unto the other what you would like the other to do unto you? Nobody is discussing this. Love your neighbor as yourself. Nobody is discussing this. And these are these elements of these universal moral teachings, which indeed, as being universal, they are also aligned with the law of the natural laws themselves. The law of nature are fundamentally good. So all what is the definition between good and evil can also be set as a reference to the natural laws. Good is everything which is aligned or in harmony with the natural laws, and evil is all what is not aligned with the natural laws. So the referential is not the Bible, or not even Kardec, or not even the Pope, or whoever. It is the natural laws themselves, which are, by the way, at least on the physical aspects, studied by science. This study should be enlarged also to, and it starts to be in the ethical concepts. These questions of good and evil, the spiritual intelligence, as I just spoke. And that is really what a good person has to focus on to be a good person. So focusing does not also mean just talk about, yes, we should do this, we should do that. No, the good person is the one who does not talk so much, but who does. The say-to-do ratio has to be very high. And it's more by the acts, by the attitudes, concrete attitudes, even in the difficult moments. This is really characterizing a person which is good, and not just having nice words, making copy paste, or knowing by heart some moral, the Sermon of the Mount or whatever. Knowing it by heart or going every day to church does not make you a good person. The good person is really revealed by his action on a day-by-day basis on the fact. And so that's what I would suggest as a first answer to your question, Stevan.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you. Yes, it's a that is a big difference in doing than knowing the theory. The theory everybody knows. But my dear Gibbons, a person to be good needs to be perfect.
No. I think I will read. No, we don't need to be perfect because it takes a very, very long time for us to become perfect. And, like Charles was saying, there are things we are learning slowly, step by step, as we progress. But I'll read something here from the Gospel, from chapter 17. It says, perfection, as Christ said, is only to be found in the practice of unlimited charity. Since the duties of charity cover all social positions from the highest to the lowest, he who wishes who lives in isolation cannot practice charity, because it is being in contact with our fellow beings in painful battles that allow us to practice charity.
Mm-hmm.
We do not need to wear a hair shirt either, to punish ourselves like they used to in the olden days, and to cover ourselves with ashes. But we needed to be happy within our human needs, but not allow a thought that would offend God or cause a shadow to fall on the faces of those who loves us and guides us. And he concludes by saying that God is love, and he blesses all who sanctify their own love. So I think what he's saying is perfection is something that is attainable in some period of our existence as a spirit. We are going to progress and we are going to develop, and one day we'll be perfect beings, but it will take a long time. But while we're here, we can try to be as good as possible. I think Charles mentioned quite a few things, as an example what we can do, but also when he, on this quote here, it says the price of unlimited charity, since the duties of charity covers all positions. And I think it's exactly the point that, is beyond religion, is beyond faith, is beyond everything, is the fact that, to do good to others, to treat others, like he said at the beginning, for us to be aware of the things we do, to be forgiving, and to not return, if someone is bad to us, don't return them with the same coin, but if as much as possible for forgiveness, or at least do not retaliate, and to be aware of always, in whatever situation, always return good for evil. And I think this, the words are very beautiful and are very inspiring. But also, I think most of us, like in any spiritual development and awareness, like Charles said very nicely, spiritual intelligence, we needed to be aware of it. It doesn't happen overnight. Some people seem to be good by nature, but they've been through the process of learning in other existence, in other lives. And we also need to be learning. And I think now, this awareness, it, it it's more and more. You can see that more and more, and it's funny in a way as well, because we are living such a contrasting times. At times, you listen to the news or things, and it's so shocking. It's so absolutely shocking, whatever is happening, because everything that you learned that is right, it seems to be challenged now. And it's almost like the dark forces, the dark side of the force is taking over, and can make people very depressed and very despondent. But on the other hand, I think what is good and what is that it's part of the light, really, is there, I think, in a greater number. Because if it were, because sometimes we think the darkness is heavier, but there is more light. Because if not, I don't think we would be able to survive it. And we see shocking things. I mean, Charles, more than us, have gone through appalling situations in France, and some of the pictures were so absolutely shocking, because in a way, we always have Paris and France as the birth of the Illuminism, of intelligence and art and music. We always associate France, and especially Paris. Well, it was the seat of lights, meaning the Illuminism, the greatest philosophers and musicians and everything, and the ideas that has led mankind to a great progression. And it's so shocking to see the situation there. And on the other hand, this kind of things as well, sometimes we need to be shocked, to come out of our platitude and, oh, it's okay, things will sort out. And we know that things will not sort out by themselves. We need to be aware. And this is a conscious effort to be a good person, to be not return evil for evil, to be to be kind, to be considerate, to be understanding, to be loving. It needs to be something that's conscious. We do it because we are aware that we need to do it. And also, I think, because we need to do those things, because it's absolutely impossible for us not to do it. And I think when Charles talk about spiritual intelligence, I think that's what means, at least to me, the fact that, I have to be good is something that I must make an effort. I fall back. Of course I do. Sometimes, I get very annoyed with things, but mostly, it's, we progress, we go. Because I think for us, we couldn't do anything else. It's just impossible for us to think in doing what is different. Maybe we don't do as deeply or as as well as we could, but we are in process of learning. But we don't do the opposite, and that's very, very important, because I think also here in this passage when he says, "Be happy within the human needs." So, be happy in the world where you live. Make changes, make changes to your own home, to your life, and but just don't always be conscious that God is there, that He loves us, that He guides us above everything, and uh, and to be really conscious that every day we make a little effort to be better than we were the day before.
Mhm.
And as I said, just repeating myself, I think we have come to a point now that we, as much as possible, that's humanly possible, we try to do good. We try to be kind and considerate and really help, and with our prayers, with money, with listening, whatever it is, because absolutely there is no way we could not do it anymore. We come to the point that we have, it's almost part of us already to make this effort. So I leave to you to and to discussion, and it's good, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Well, first of all, good evening, Louviam, Marco Davis. Good to have you all here. I want to emphasize that also there is a difference. You are doing good just because you know you need to do good, or you're doing good because, oh, let me help that person because someday I need a favor from them, or you have a second intention when you are helping someone. This is not doing good. The good we are talking here, it is the good you do without any any retribution expectation. It's like it's like if I ask you, how many times have you blinked your eye today? How many times have you how many times your heart beaten today? We don't know. We cannot count. So we will reach this devotion to goodness when we don't count how many times we are doing good things. This is an effortless process. It's part of us. It's natural from us. Thinking about it, we say we we are we are far from this this milestone, let's say. Uh, Charles, can we say that a good person is a dutiful person?
A dutiful person. It's a necessary condition to be dutiful, but it's not a sufficient condition.
Yes.
You have
Yeah.
a lot of people who are dutiful, but who do not good. They are dutiful in earning money. They are dutiful in following the instruction of someone else. But not always a dutiful person is doing good. So I think to do good, you need to be dutiful. So it's a necessary condition, but not sufficient condition.
Yeah.
And as you are very well, you told doing good for doing good is what we call disinterestedness.
Mhm.
Who are we serving in doing good? God or Mammon? Obviously, we are serving God.
Yeah.
If you serve Mammon, you are not disinterested. You are looking for money. You are looking for material things. And we can see spirituality a little bit like a bird, which is taking off. And the lack of disinterestedness, the fact to try to make money with spirituality, you just take the bird by his feet. I don't know if the correct word for a bird, and push it back to the ground, to the material things. It's the so-called spiritualist materialism. And unfortunately, a lot of persons who are opening to spiritualism are still on this way to try to make business out of it, which is in fact not possible. And the second thing, and you see, you can have people, dutiful people in making business. It's a way to be dutiful. So making business, is it doing good? Depends the type of business. It can be good, but not always it is good. If it's speculating, push the money from the production tools or from the persons who are investing. Is it good? No, it's not good, definitively. So, but it is even allowed by law, so we cannot criticize too much. But not all what is allowed by the law is good. That's another point. And another thing I would like to stretch on this point of view is coming back again with the religions. A lot of people are really dutiful in their religion. Okay. But what are most of the religion teaching? You have to do good if you want to go to the heaven. Otherwise, if you don't do good, you go to hell. What is this? You have the carrot on one side and the stick on the other side, So the people are doing good under threat. And as you exactly told, Stevan, this is maybe not doing good because you are obliged to do good. The real good is the one you do even if you're not obliged to. The good you do autonomously, and not the good you are doing heteronomously because you seek for a reward or you seek to avoid a punishment or whatsoever. I think that's another aspect. And a lot of people who are dutiful following a religion are maybe not doing the good in the as much disinterestedness way as they should.
Yeah.
But I would say even I would put a bemol here. The guy who is doing good heteronomously, sometimes he's doing good, Even the guy who is doing good for avoiding a punishment, sometimes he's making good things, But the real true good, when we think about sustainability, in the Anthropocene period, we entered a century ago or something like that. With all this global warming that we are seeing, this wave of heat, this huge thunderstorm, this flooding in US this week. Every week we see things happening. The forests which are burning in Canada or whatever. We really have to think about. And these are the moments where we really see if we are good or not. Because our economy is always based, we have to do growth. The problem is it really possible to indefinitely making growth, raise of the PIB, what's the name of that in English? National income, growth, GDP.
Gross domestic product.
Exactly. The GDP cannot grow when you analyze the theory, what are the basic assumptions of the economical science. One of the basic assumptions is the resources of the earth are for free and unlimited. This is a basic principle of the economical science, even today. So with natural resources which are for free and unlimited, you can have growth without end. But is this hypothesis really true? I think it's obvious today for most of the people, unless the one who are really blinding themselves, that it is not the case. So there will be a moment, a time, and we had already such, I would say, exercises during the pandemic, where we will not be capable of doing, we will have to tighten the belt somehow to reduce our liberties, our habits, to reduce all what is superfluous in us, and to stick, even cut maybe a little bit of the things we think are necessary. And how are the people reacting when such things happen, when they are obliged or asked by someone to tighten the belt?
Mm-hmm.
Silvia told it already. You have seen in France, no? Okay, to keep the equilibrium of the retirement system, financial equilibrium, you will have to work 2 years more. And you have seen the mess who is given. A lot of political people coming, exciting the selfishness of the person, inducing violence, and then you have all these things happening. Is that doing good? Not really. And this is what I was saying at the beginning. If we want the human being to survive on the earth, we cannot continue like that. It will only be possible by doing good. So doing good for us is vital, because if we stay with this material consumption, pollution, wasting, willing always more, and accumulating superfluous things, and staying with this selfishness and pride, the humanity will disappear from the earth. It is as simple as that. So only doing good is ensuring the sustainability, the sustainable future for our children, our grandchildren. And we should not forget here that the grandchildren may be us reincarnating again. Okay.
Yeah.
So if we really want to preserve this planet, making such that the humanity does not disappear, there is not a lot of solution. One solution, which is very easy, is this one, doing good, which is the subject of today.
But this is difficult.
But it is difficult as long as you don't have pressure on you. But the one you have the pressure, you see this is flooding or whatever, or this the nature taking its right back, you will not have a lot of solution. A lot of people will not accept, of course, but soon the people will become aware that there is no other way.
Yeah, it's something tricky. And let me see, looks like we have a question here. No, it's a comment from Marcos. Let me read. Yeah, we need what I'm saying. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Even though I'm doing good with a kind of self interest in that thing, it is still valid for those who are receiving this kindness, the good, this gesture of goodness. But we need to love one another. And where is the love in this action? Where is the harmony in this action? Let's take, for example, let's use example here, Kardec, Charles. at the beginning, his research, he until certain time he used to answer all the questions himself. All the letters he have received, he catalog. He had his own methodology to do this, but it's himself writing the letters. It's not anyone putting a Control C, Control V letter. If we have a Control C, Control V letter from that time,
Copy paste.
yeah, copy and paste. But he used to answer that without interest. Listen the people, listen their complaint. Most of the complaints, because nobody will write to Kardec say, "Hey, great job, well done. If you need any help, I'm here. I have a bookshop here. Let's sell your books for free." No.
There were some, but not so much. Huh?
Yes, yes, yeah. So, but what I'm saying is, we never ever need or have to give up. It's difficult. It is sometimes we had that feeling, all this effort is for nothing. It is, but we need to do. We need to move on. We need to keep going and following our model and our guide. So, Marco, Lu, if you do have any questions, please let me know. Lu just put it here. Doing good is the human destiny, even if it will be painful for many of us. Correct, Lu. That's it. We will do it. Sooner or later, we will do it. And just thinking about the reincarnation is better than doing now, because when I come back, I will find things a little bit better than it is today. That's the idea. If everybody have this kind of idea, things are going to improve like exponentially. My dear Silvia, you are too quiet today. And because you're too quiet,
I am listening to you. You are talking. I can't talk at the same time. I'm listening to you.
yeah, and the question to you is, to be good, does a person need to isolate from the other people?
No, I mean, it's exactly the opposite, isn't it? I think, like read before, it's only we cannot be good on our own, because if we are on our own, if we get a little shack and go to live in the middle of nowhere and live by ourselves and looking at the stars, we have no opportunity to do any good, because it's only through, like he said, it's only in contact with a fellow being in painful battles that allows the practice of charity. I think one point that you were talking about, sometimes people do good just for the sake, just because they think they're going to get something in return. They probably, whatever they get from the good that they are doing is already be the recompense, but at least they are doing something good. Even though it's self-interested, they are already doing something good. I always remember in that book, Nosso that Andrea Luis talks about that he was a medical doctor, and every Thursday he used to see very poor people who could not afford to go to doctors. So he would open his clinic for the very poor. And he was very clear on that. He said he used to do that so he could tell people that he was doing a lot of good, a lot of charity to people, mostly was his intention to so other people would know. But when he was, after he returned to the spiritual world, and he was lost for a while, and a lot of people praying for him and everything, and eventually he goes to work in this rectifying area, and he meets a man there, or a man or a woman, I think, I can't remember quite, um, that I think she said to him, I prayed for you a lot because I remember that I couldn't afford to go to the doctor, and you saw me a few times. I did go to your clinic and you treated me. So, I prayed for you a lot. And those prayers for someone he didn't really imagine, it really helped him. So sometimes, even for selfish reasons, to do good is the best thing that you can do.
Mhm.
But I think also, I mean, like, to repeat what I said before, it comes to a point in our lives. And I think, maybe the three of us, or, more other people have already found that, because we've been reading this, something has to change. We begin to understand the law of God and what he requires of us. It comes to a point in you have to do good because there is no other way for you to do, because you've already achieved a level of understanding that you cannot do evil. It will make you feel really sick. And I think it comes to times, when you say, for instance, an example, if you're saying something bad about someone, immediately you think about, you should be doing that. Everyone deserves to have a second chance. Everyone deserves to be seeing the best that they can. No one is totally bad. And we already think of this because we have already achieved a level that we cannot do any harm anymore, because it hurts us a lot, because we begin to understand the laws of God and what is required of us within those laws. And of course, the more we understand this, goodness and the action of helping, of reaching out to other people, of really beginning to see in every person
Mhm.
a needy brother and sister, that we are all the same. We are all brothers and sisters in this, because we have one Father. So it begins to be automatic. You don't think about it. Sometimes you see someone begging for food, and you don't know what it is. You just reach out for a couple of coins, and you just give it to the person without thinking, oh, is he going to drink with that money? Is he going to do this? Is he going to eat? He told me he's going to eat, but you don't think that anymore. You just reach out and give. Whatever he's going to do with the money you gave them is their problem. But you couldn't you couldn't go by a person who says, I'm hungry, and not give them some money, if you see what I mean. And I think with other things as well, trying to forgive, trying to understand, and not getting all filled with envy or hatred, or, oh, that person did that to me. I mean, I remember someone, now I look back, it's so funny, but she used to say, do you remember that day 1986 that you said that to me? And I mean, but it is not a joke. It's true. I
It is
mean,
true, I know.
do you remember? And I told you. And it was, I remember looking at it and I think, my God, I can't even remember if I was alive in 1986, let alone what I said then, And I think we needed to learn to see the beauty of life as well, to be happy, I think we are so blessed. We look at the worst sometimes. Oh God, look at this. But if we think about how wonderful thing is, the sun will shine no matter what. It rain, thunderstorm, flooding, whatever, but the sun will come back. There will be a chance. There will be another opportunities. And sometimes we need to be shaken out of our platitudes, and we just sit there. When something happens, we have to move and think about it and do something about it. And I think a lot more. I think that Charles was saying, oh, we need to tighten our belts. But I know personally a lot of people who put less heating in their homes this winter. One, because it's terribly expensive, another because they put thicker jumpers and switch the heating, maybe only in the hours of the evening that got really cold, because they think, oh, we can't spend a lot, we have to save some and things like that. So I think, we go to the supermarket, we try to buy the food that's locally produced. Nowadays you find a lot more food in the supermarket that's locally produced. So we buy that, instead of buying something that comes from the other side of the world. And I think that is a shift. It's not complete, but there is a beginning of a shift in the way we think about things. How aware we are to take our same bags to the supermarket rather than getting all this plastic. There is a long way to go, by no means, but in a way, we are beginning to be more aware, because I remember this professor, I think he was from Scotland. He said, oh, people talk about saving the earth, saving the earth, saving the earth. And he said, I have some news for you. You don't need to save the earth, because in about 1 million, 2 million years, the earth will clean itself up. The air will be clean again. But we don't have the same lifespan of the earth. And I think if you think about, oh, maybe next time there won't be any water. And one thing that I personally got, I couldn't believe it. I just could not believe it, that the Euphrates, the river Euphrates, is actually dried up. To me, it's frightening. It's really scary, because if it's the beginning of history of mankind, the history of Mesopotamia, the land between the two rivers, and one of them now is dried. And that lake in Russia as well, that people used to go on holidays to that place, to boating and all, and now is dried. I think this is the kind of things that we need to be aware of, because something is happening, and they use a lot of the water, I think, for cotton or whatever it was. So I think we are beginning to shift and change, and we have to become more and more aware as well of those things, and maybe go back to, earlier periods when we planted a lot of our food. I mean, I was lucky. I can remember going to my grandmother's house and never buying any food. She had this garden, all the vegetables came from her garden. And she had all these special things, and the chickens and everything. She made a lot of the bread herself, and, it was nice, beautiful, fresh food. And maybe we should start using it. And some people actually now are beginning to plant food in their own home.
Yes.
That is a beginning of a shift to, buy from local people and plant your own. And that is a little bit. So I'm hopeful. I like to think that the glass is half full.
Well,
Sorry, I think I went on.
we have a taste for everything. Glass half full, glass half empty. But kindness is welcome everywhere, anytime.
Yes, kindness. Yes, I think the thing is, the basis of all faiths, of all religion, is that absolutely words that Jesus gave. Treat, love your neighbor as yourself. Do to others as you would expect them to do to you. And if we could do that, we could all be decent to one another. If nothing else, it's because we make a better world. It's
Yeah.
better to be, it's like some people who never say good morning. you know, Sometimes when they used to go to work in the office, there are people never said good morning. And actually, I used to come always very cheerful. Good morning, hello, good morning, lovely day. And I used to irritate this person. She used to go
Yeah.
mad with me because she said, "Why are you always cheerful?" I said, because it's better than being in a bad mood. Look at my skin. I have a nice skin because I'm always smiling. So it's good for you, makes you feel better
Yeah.
if nothing else, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's the point. I think we don't give value with this feeling better. When we overcome a problem and we have that feeling we are proud of ourselves, when we do a good thing, or when you do a kindness, a good deed, let's say good deed. I think that's the word. When we do a good deed, we kind of certain, we kind of feel that goodness in ourselves. We know we did the right thing. We know we did a good job. We know we reached someone's heart, someone's soul. And I tell you a story. I think it was my before the Garda forbidden us to go to streets to give tea and sandwich without being a charitable organization and blah 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 blah. One day I was reaching a, a, a girl. She was sitting beside a ATM. She should have, like, her age should be 22, 23 max. And I just went down and I asked her, "Hey, do you like a cup of tea or a sandwich or both?" And she said, "No, I want a piece. I want a kindness." And then we said, I tried to engage in a conversation with her. But the point is, she was there because in her house, there is fight every single day. Brothers, mom and dad, all these, and she couldn't have peace. So that's a point of kindness. How we could be kindful if we don't have this at home. We need we needed to start to give the example. We are led by example.
Yes, I think it's a good point, isn't it? Because, normally we think that people need material things, and they do, it's undeniable. But just to be recognized, to be talked I remember talking to people, near work. There was someone sitting there. I would stop and talk and ask their name. And I found one day that was very interesting. He said, "Oh, I don't have real name. Nobody calls me by name anymore." And I said, "Well, I will call you by name if you tell me how what's your name is, and he told me his name, and I always made sure he had good morning. And eventually I was talking to him, and he got a house away from London, but he came to tell me, oh, I found a house and everything. And he, it's a silly thing, but he changed just to have someone who knew his name and who
Mhm.
said good morning to him, with his name, and sometimes, and it doesn't necessarily mean to be someone who's homeless, who is in financial difficulties. I mean, I know a lot of people very well off financially, who needed someone to say good morning to them. How are you? you know I
Yeah.
worked in a shop, and I used to say, oh, hello, good morning, how are you today? And in a very rich area of London, and they just want someone to acknowledge them. And I remember a silly thing, sometimes I would see them letting people go in front of them so they could come to my till, because I work in a till. And so they would buy a magazine or whatever, newspaper, and they would say, oh, no, you go in front, so they could come to my till, because I knew their names, I knew how,
Mhm,
I said,
mhm.
hello, how are you? And things like that is nothing. It's just saying hello to someone. How is your day? Have you been okay and everything? It's cold today, no, it's warm today, whatever. And people is starving for acknowledgement. It's amazing. That's why I always talk to people in the bus. I say good morning, I smile to everyone. I go like that, like like the Cheshire cat. And a lot of people actually, those who don't think I'm a bit funny in the head, they smile back,
Oh,
because
really?
it is important. Yes. I don't know. I look as if I'm always smiling anyway, so everybody smiles back. And I talk to people in the bus, and especially and I think people needed to be recognized. Nobody talks to anybody anymore. Have you seen it? Have you ever seen take a bus and you have couples and they have the thing on their ears and they couldn't be further from each other if they tried, because they are in their phones,
Yeah.
you know. I heard this very funny thing the other day. uh, Tom Cruise, he was in London for a film or whatever, and something happened, and they didn't have the car, so he said, "Oh, let's go and take the tube." So he got his hat and went into the tube with the other people, and and he said everyone was in their phones. Nobody noticed him. He said, "Oh, we weren't recognized in the tube." He said, "No, nobody saw me. Everybody
Yeah.
was on their phone." And then he said, one girl kept looking at him, and then he noticed that she recognized him, and he said to her, "Shh, shh, don't tell anybody." And then of course she clicked a picture. But he said he traveled to London Underground, Tom Cruise, and nobody saw him because everybody was on their phone. That's something, isn't it? Because
Yes.
he's outside of the cinema. There are 500,000 people waiting for him, and they are sitting next to him in the tube, and they don't see him because they're on their phone. I think this is really a lesson for us.
Yes. Yes.
Anyway,
Okay, my friends, it's time. Say hey, Trevor. Good to have you here, Marco. Marco saying to you, because he agreed with you. We need to be grateful each minute. Yes,
absolutely, absolutely.
and like Silva said,
Gratitude is
just
everything.
just give a good morning. Just say have a good day. Give a smile. It's a kindness. Okay, let me put it here. Our announcements, and I oops. Mute. Okay, so next week, time of trust. It is our topic, 18th of July, 9 p.m. We'll be here to talk about time of trust.
It's at 19, actually, isn't it?
19?
Yes. Next Wednesday
Yes.
is the 19th.
Oh,
Yes.
my mistake. So it's
19,
19.
everyone.
19th of
Wednesday, the
July.
19th. Yeah.
19th of July. Forget. Yeah. So, any interested with the psychological spiritual psychology study? Look for Fabrício Assunção. He'll give you more details about it. Our medium book study every Saturday, 10 a.m. with Charles Munir and Guilherme Dias. And our dear friend Ebony Paris, she's giving every Monday at 8 p.m. the study of the book Astral City, Not the Life. And every other Tuesday, we have time to talk with Rafael Caldas and Faye Washington. And this is it from us today. I want to say thank you all for your collaboration, for your interaction with us. Thank you, Marcos. Thank you, Lou. Thank you, Trevor. Thank you, Charles. Merci. Thank you,
Merci.
Silvia.
Thank you all.
Obrigado. So, to
Thank
all
you
of
very
you,
much.
have a wonderful weekend. And I'll see you next week. Thank you.
Okay. God bless. Bye.
Bye bye.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Ta-ta.